Hello, sir. Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, good morning.
Uh, Is anyone facing issues with SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you good. Can you please repeat that?
Is anyone facing issues with SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, using SMSMS, this particular software?
Oh, I'm not too sure. Okay.
No, I don't have any issue.
All right. Sir, at night I got a ping that someone was facing this issue, like someone was not able to connect to the server.
Yeah, she has not joined the class, so she's not feeling
Acha.
well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just I will give that information right now. Like you can pass it on to him, saying that what should be done. So in this case, all right. So whenever you guys are installing SQL Server Management Studio, right? Mainly with most of the modern machines. Okay, if your machine is a little older, so you will not have any problem. But if your machine is a little advanced and if it has an SSD in it, all right, sometimes you might face a little bit of trouble with that. So mainly the trouble is with your SSD. Your SSD's format is not supported by SSMS. Hello, someone speaking. All right. So if you guys are facing that issue particularly, so what you have to do is you have to create a separate virtual hard drive for that. Okay. You have to create a separate virtual hard drive. Now, what is a separate virtual hard drive? So basically, whatever your system offers by default. Okay, uh, let me show you this. All right. So for example, by default, your system offers something like this. Okay, a local drive C. Now, if I see its properties, right, though it is NTFS, but still there are sometimes there are problems with this format, and your system cannot be able to like your SSMS will not be able to install on this. By default, you cannot install it directly on it. So you will have installation problems. Okay, you cannot install SQL Server software. You cannot install SSMS, or maybe you can install SSMS, but you cannot install SQL Server database into it. Okay, so there are two components. One is your management studio, which is used for like which is the user interface. Okay, SSMS is your user interface, and there is a SQL Server database where you will perform all these operations. So where you can create databases, you can perform all the other SQL activities. So there is a database underneath. Okay, you might not be able to install that particular software. So what you have to do is you have to go into the system. You have to create a separate virtual hard drive for that. Okay, if possible, I will try to provide you that document. Okay, so you have to create a different VHD for that. So once you create a VHD, right, in that VHD you can, so the VHD is something like this. So it will create a new drive. Okay, it will create a new drive completely. Right? It will create a new drive like this. Okay, so I created a 10 GB new drive in this. Okay, and I actually formatted it on the basis of that. Okay, so I created a new virtual hard drive with NTFS and with some default settings. I did this. So on this you can install. You cannot install directly on your default thing. Okay, so you have to create this new virtual hard drive, and there you have to install your SQL Server software. After installing also, you might face issues with something like this. A network related instance or specific error occurred. Okay, you might face this particular issue. All right. When you face this particular issue, right? Actually, it is what is happening here is your services. Okay. So there are services installed. Whenever you are installing any software, there are services installed behind it, and it might be disabled by default. It might be disabled by default. No, you have to open this services. Okay. So all the services in your system that are currently running, not running, everything is listed out here. So what you have to go? You have to go to SQL Server. So this is my SQL Server. You see SQL Server, MS SQL. Now this is my instance. This is the instance that I use to connect to my database. So if you see that, that is currently stopped, and you got this option here to start the service. So you have to click on that start the service. So once you do it, it gets opened up. Now I'm back to my SSMS. Click on OK, click on connect, and it gets connected. Okay, sir. If you guys are facing issues, and if someone is, you know, facing issues to connect to the database, SQL Server database, so this is what you have to do. Clear, everyone? Let me keep my mobile on silent. Everyone clear with this? Okay, this is not for most of the people. Okay, but few people might face this issue, and for those people, this is the thing. All right. Now today, yes, yes, sir.
Can you please explain to me a little more about this SQL Server? So, the database we are creating, is that created in our local machine or in SQL Server? Not too sure.
All right. So basically what happens in this is any management studio, okay, any database management system, okay, basically any database management system has three components in it. Okay, mainly have three components in it. One is the database. One is the database software. Now, what is this database software? This database software is mainly responsible for holding your tables. This database software is mainly responsible for holding your tables. So this is your first component. Any management studio you take, okay, any database management system you take, it has three things in it. One is your database software, which sits on your hard drive, which is mainly responsible for your creation of tables. Whatever the tables you create, right, it holds those tables. Whatever the data you push, right, it holds that data. That software is your database software. All
Okay.
right. On top of this, there is one more software which is called as the server software. Now this server software is responsible to send your queries. Whatever the queries you write, right, that queries are interpreted in a language only that the database can understand. Okay, there is a server in between which converts your queries. Whatever the query you write, for example, you write select star from customer, you write an insert into statement, you write a create table, whatever you write, that is converted or that is interpreted into a language that can be understood only by the database. Okay, that work is done by your server. Okay, for example, if you see here, this is the service that is running, this service. Okay, this service, whatever that is running, right, this is a server, or this is a software which runs in between, connecting to your database, local database. All right. On top of that, you will have an IDE, integrated development environment, by which by the IDE you can send your commands. For example, in this case, your SQL Server Management Studio is the IDE. Earlier, you guys used to use VS Code, right?
Yeah.
VS Code was your IDE. All right. By using the VS Code, you are sending your request to the server, or the server used to send that particular request. It used to convert that query into something that can be understood by your database software. All right. So there are these three components in every database management system. There are these three components. Currently, we are here. What is the ID we are using? We are using SSMS. That is our SQL Server Management Studio, which is one of the powerful SQL Server IDEs. Okay, it's not mandatory that you have to use SSMS with SQL Server. If you are on a Mac, and if you are like a advanced user, right, what you can do is you can have a Docker. Okay, if you know about Docker, right, if you have a Docker, right, you can install your database software onto the Docker. database software and database server onto the Docker. And you can use, because SSMS is not supported by Mac, what you can use is you can use something called as Azure Data Studio. You can use a software called as Azure Data Studio. By using the Azure Data Studio, you can talk to the Docker, and in the Docker, you can install database software and the server inside it. If you are a Mac user and you still want to work with SQL Server, so this is one of the ways you can do it. But this is a little lengthy process, and sometimes it might not work also. But if you're still interested and if you are an advanced user, you know how to do that. I suggest you to do that. All right. But the people who are on Windows and like who can install, for them it is easy. They can directly install SQL Server Management Studio. They can connect to the server, and with the server they can send their queries to the database. All right, sir. Understood?
Yeah, so that means whenever we download this package, it comes with all three. So internet connection is not necessary for us to do anything, right?
Yes. For doing any query, you don't need any internet connection. It is completely on premise. Now the database is getting created in your hard drive. The server is getting hosted in your machine itself.
Okay.
Okay, and you are installing the ID on your system itself. So
Oh,
your server acts as a local host. Local host is like the local server. But in real time, what happens is you will just have the SQL Server Management Studio. You will not have the database installed in your system because the database is on the database server.
okay.
So now what you will do is you will take that database credentials, you will give it in the SQL Server Management Studio. You will be given user credentials. You will input that credentials and it works. Okay, and you can directly connect to that particular database.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. Now, some of you might ask, like, sir, why we are like more towards into the database? Why not into any ETL activity? In real time, what happens is, though we perform ETL activities, major of our business logic, okay, major of our business logic, we write it on SQL. In extraction transformation load, most of your transformation part, okay, most of your transformation part, it can be divided like 50% you write it on the ETL software, and 50% of it you will write it on the SQL itself. Okay, so you should be good with your database logics. How well you can manage your database logics, it is very, very important. So in today's class, what we are going to do is we are going to do something called as, an incremental load. Okay, we are going to see something called as an incremental load, what we are going to do with that. And if there is a data which is already existing, how we will update that data. All right, if the data is new, how we will just push that data, how we will maintain auditing. Okay, auditing is one of the concepts that we can do. Okay, how to do auditing, all these things we are going to learn. Prinsa, do you have a doubt here?
So far we learned to transform the data, right?
Right.
But the same thing can be done using Python. Why is it like
Mhm.
SQL is the standard for industry?
All right. So most of the data engineers, right? Okay. So most of the data engineers are not well versed with Python. Now Python is getting traction right now. Okay. Python is now it is going like now it is taking up. But there are some database intensive applications out there which doesn't use Python.
Mm-hmm.
Most of like to perform ETL activities, you should know Python. Okay, you can do all these activities only by using Python.
Yeah.
But what if your developer stack doesn't know Python? All right, and moreover, if there is a team, most of your teammates are good with your database. Okay, like might be SQL Server, it might be Postgres also. Okay, most of them use either Postgres or SQL Server Management Studio. So these two are in very high demand. Okay, for data warehousing activities, either they use Postgres or they use SQL Server. All right, so what they are going to do is maintaining that database activities is better here. It is not like Python cannot do it or Python is less used. It completely depends, or it completely drills down to what is your requirement. Okay. So for example, with the Python, what you can do is you can just directly extract data from multiple sources. Like you can do web scraping with Python.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. You know, right? You can do web
Yeah.
scraping with Python. You can go to a website, you can directly read tables from the web page, you can convert them into data frames, and then you can send that data frames to your database. All right. So you
Yeah.
can do that. Okay. But what they do is what is efficient? See, web scraping and all these techniques are used only by a fraction of businesses. Most of the businesses don't do web scraping. What most of the system has is mainly enterprise level applications. What enterprise level applications have is enterprise level applications always has data silos. Okay, there are like lot of data silos are there. So what they do is whatever the data gets generated, mainly for example, one of the projects I work in has a AS400 system beneath. Okay, so there is an IBM's AS400. Now this is a it is a tool. Okay, it is a software used by IBM AS400. So here what it generates is it generates data. Okay, so some work is done on this IBM AS400. So whatever the data that gets generated, right, they generate a text file at the end. Okay, text file for each activity. For example, we work on logistics, so every day some logistic operations are performed and all these things are done. So what they generated is they generate text file for each one of those operations. All these files are loaded into a storage location. So we have an FTP server, so all these files are dumped into a FTP server. Now, what we will do is we will write ETL pipelines in between. Using SSIS, we write ETL pipelines. Now, you can use Azure Data Factory as well, because now Azure Data Factory is like the most in demand compared to SSIS. Okay. Now, you can use Azure Data Factory or SSIS to read these text files directly. Now, what they can do is they can read this directly from the text file. They can convert that. All right, whatever the data transformations you want to apply, right, readily they are available. Okay, because now today we are going to jump into Visual Studio as well. If the time permits, we are going to jump into SSIS as well. I will show you some transformations which are readily available. You don't have to write a code for it. Okay, you don't have to write a code for it. I will just give you a glance. So for this makes your life easy comparatively to your Python. Okay, so just let me create one sample project and I will show you integration service project. All right. Now, if you see, this is the interface of the SSDD or SSIS, what we call it as SQL Server Integration Services. If you see this, okay, it has some tasks already available. For example, these are all the control flow tasks. Control flow means how it should move, how the data should be moved. All these are control flow tasks. And there are like lot of data flow tasks. Now, data flow task is where we will do lot of transformations. The data flow tasks are the places where we do lot of transformation. For example, you want to perform any aggregate functions. Okay, you want to do any conditional split. You want to split the data. Okay, you want to convert the data. You want to look up whether that particular record exists or not. You want to merge two tables data into one single one. There is merge join. These are like union and union all. Okay, multicast. Now from one data source to you want to send it to multiple flows, you can use multicast. Okay, which data source you want to connect to, and you have source and you have destinations as well. All right, there is like copy column, export the columns. Okay, so you have a lot of data transformation tools which are already available. Okay, these all functions are already written. You don't have to write any piece of code for this. You just have to drag and drop down them. All right, and just give it a connector. So if you just give it a connector, right, what happens, whatever the data flows in, right, automatically the transformation is applied, and then you can send it directly to your destination, your destination database. So it makes your life easy. Now in Python, what will happen is in Python you have to write from the scratch. For every transformation you have to write code. All right, for every transformation you have to write code. It is not like data engineering cannot be done by Python, but data engineering can be done by Python, but only for specific purposes. Okay, you have a very niche, what you say, activity, or a very niche, what you say, specification, which cannot be achieved by the conventional data warehousing tools like this. Okay, so if it cannot be achieved, if there is a transformation which doesn't suit your requirement, then we will go for Python. All right, with Python you can load data, like with pandas you can load directly data into your databases, but only extracting and loading is not with Python. With Python, I mean, with any ETL tool, you must be able to do different types of transformations. So you have a lot of transformations which are available, already readily available in any ETL tool. Either it be SSIS, either it be ADF, either it be Informatica, or either it be Ab initio. Lot of data transformation tools are already available. These tools are especially designed for ETL activity. Okay, if you master or if you learn any one of these tools, learning the other tools are very easy. Okay, for example, now in this course, if you are learning SSIS, learning ADF and learning Ab initio or Informatica is very easy, because you know how to develop a complete pipeline, an ETL pipeline, from connecting to the source to the connecting to the destination. What are all the tasks that you need to do? If they're already all streamlined, right, it's very easy. Now, if you just replace this ETL software with Python, right, for everything you have to write your custom code. You have to write your custom functions for it. Okay, and that will only work for your particular project. Here, what we do is in ETL software, we recreate something called as generic templates. Now, with a generic template, you can design different types of you can use the same template, or you can use the same SSIS package for multiple requirements in your same organization. So that is the advantage you will get with an ETL tool over Python. But if you know Python, that's an added advantage. If you are good with your pandas, it's a very great added advantage for learning. Okay, because if you know Python, right, there is one more tool called as PySpark, okay, which is more intensively used in data engineering techniques. Okay, PySpark and Databricks. So what you can do is you can use your Python knowledge in learning PySpark. Okay, PySpark is also in very much in demand. Like maybe after this course, maybe you will jump into PySpark, I guess. So I am not completely sure about it. But if you have time, even if it is not covered in your curriculum, I request you to learn PySpark as well on top of this. All right, sir. Oh, we went too much theory on that. All right, let's come back. All right, did any of the tasks yesterday? Did you guys were able to load a uh, data set and load that into your system?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone want to go? Anyone want to show their system? Anyone want to show what they did yesterday? Anyone like Prince, Ayushi,
Okay.
Baisakhi, Gautami?
I can go.
You can go. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, do you have the? Can you share the screen?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I got this sales data from the Kaggle, and I looked at it like it was um all the information about the sales was in one table. So I could see that we can make a customer table, dealer table, card table, and purchase table. So that's what I did. Like from I extracted the dealer information that I see, dealer name, dealer reason, and made a dealer table with it. And same with car table. I got all the car information like company, model, engine, transmission, and color in it. I see that the prices differ even if the everything was same, so I didn't use price on it. And same with customer. Then I joined everything and here's all the table. So 4 tables.
All right. So you took one particular data set from Kaggle and you just splitted that complete data into 4 different tables,
Yes.
right? So core information, dealer information, customer information, and what is the last one? So it's a
And
combination
purchase.
of all the
Yeah, purchase.
purchase table.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Any fact table at the end? Is there any fact table at the end?
What do you mean by fact table?
For example, now you have the car table, right?
Mhm.
All right. So are you using any car ID into your purchase table?
Yes. I've
Mhm.
used all that.
All right.
Customer ID, dealer ID, and car ID.
That's good. That's good. Great. That's nice, Prince. So
Okay.
now we will go a step beyond this today. So what we will do is whatever the task we are writing right now, we will try to keep it in a stored procedure. All right. We'll try to keep it in a stored procedure. Now we will try to automate this task for every day. Okay. Whenever the data is loaded into your table, so once it gets loaded, right? So what we are going to do is every day now we are going to perform this thing. All right. All these operations and on an automatic thing, or like we will schedule it to run on every day. All right, that's great. Any other person who has done this? Gautami, Sulav, any other one?
I did, but I took a very small data set
No
and
issues.
yeah,
Yes. Will you be able to share your screen?
yeah.
Yeah.
My screen is visible.
Yes.
So I took a women clothing data set and it
Mm-hmm.
had some null values and
Mm-hmm.
um, the color column had colors like A, B, C, D, E,
Mm-hmm.
and some more. So I created a temporary table
Mm-hmm.
and then transformed some columns which had nulls and some unknown type values. So I
Mm-hmm.
transformed that and then created a new table, um, clean clothing,
Mm-hmm.
and added those transformed columns in that table.
Okay, so you just you took the data set and wherever there are no colors, you just transform that data like you data cleaned mainly. All right,
Yeah,
you are
I
performing a
did
data
data
cleaning activity.
cleaning. Yeah.
All right, so you're just making them into unknown colors because you don't want any generic or any bad data into your
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
Yeah. I
All
did
right,
that.
all right, good, Aishi, good,
Yeah.
good. All right, any other one?
I can go now. So
Yes, please.
somebody else wants to go. I can go.
Yeah, you can go on, Sulav.
Okay. I can set my screen. Okay, so I used MySQL Workbench, and which one is can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I downloaded a data set, and just like you did yesterday, I created a temporary table, and
Mhm.
so doing the transformation, I created a temporary table, and after that, I added row numbers to the company's table and created another temporary table. So in this company, there are several companies. So I created a different table that had a company that had a number as a company name, just like we did yesterday. And which one was it? Well, like in genre. So I did a company name. Let me see. So that's the result. That's another company.
Mm-hmm.
table. And the second thing I did was I just changed the so in the beginning there was a price euros, so I just changed the price from euros to a US dollar.
All
I
right.
rounded them to 2 decimal
Mm-hmm.
points.
Good.
Um, So now the price is in dollars right here. Yeah, that's all I did basically.
All right. Okay, so you just converted your price from euros to dollars,
Yeah.
and you got this company names, right? So what you did with that companies, you created a separate table for that, right?
Yeah.
So are you using those IDs into this?
Into this,
Yes, you
no,
had this.
I just created another table and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not using ID. I just created separate IDs so we can use it later.
All
But
right. All right.
yeah, I did not use it. I just created the table, a separate table.
Okay.
For instance.
All right. So you do not have a Windows machine, Sula?
No, I do not.
Oh, right. But yes, still it's a good job. So it's nice that you did all this. Because today whatever we are going to learn from today, right? So this requires especially this particular stack, so that's why I'm asking you. All right, if possible, can you try the Docker method, whatever I suggested, right? Try to use the Docker method, like if you can get it. Okay, I tried it earlier, but it did not happen with me. But you try it if it's possible. Okay.
Okay.
All
Otherwise,
right.
I'll try to use my. How many days we're gonna use it? A couple of days.
Maybe for the next so it might take at least 3 days to learn, 6 hours at least to learn SSIS. All right. So we will be complete only. So today is Thursday for me. Okay. So tomorrow we will start. Okay. Friday, Saturday too, and then it
Okay.
will be on
I'll,
Monday.
I'll try to
All
use a
right.
Windows machine. Maybe I'll ask my friend about it. No.
Yeah. All right. All right. That will work. All right. Thanks. Okay. Any other person? Any other person who wants to share?
I can
Sai Prahalad, Gautami.
I have created one. I can share.
Sorry.
I can share my screen.
Yes. Yes. Ritu, come. Please.
My screen is.
Yes, it's Ritu.
Yeah, so I've taken a database from the Kaggle website. So I've taken a database of jobs and salaries in data science. So this is
Mm-hmm.
my original table,
Mm-hmm.
which has like 12 columns. And then
All
I've
right.
created a temporary table and I've dropped two columns, which is like salary, currency, and salary, which I thought
Okay.
that I don't need it in the analysis, and I
Acha.
can do it everything in salary in USD, like
Mm-hmm.
a generic way.
Okay.
And then so here I based on 1 second, yeah. Based on the company work setting, I've
Mm-hmm.
distributed the tables into three parts. So that
Mm-hmm.
is hybrid, in-person, and remote location.
Good.
So, so this I've done in like three settings.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I have run some queries and I've created a job category table. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
created IDs for it.
Okay.
Which is like if there are 10 job categories, I've created simultaneous IDs for it. And then after that, I have used it in the fact table
Mm-hmm.
and changed the job category to job category ID.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, And there was no data cleaning as such.
Okay.
Because it was already clean data. And then I performed some queries on it.
All right. All right. Good, Ritu. Good. All right. Any other one we missed? Ritu is done. Any other one who wants to share?
I can go.
Yes, Gautam.
Yeah.
Gautam, are you talking? You're on mute.
Sorry, I'm on mute. So, this is the main table. It's on Harry Potter reviews, user ID and the types of user, age, country, and everything is there. So based on the user type, I divide into 3 tables: female, male, and others.
Mm-hmm.
So, and based on the rating, I just arrange them. So this is the final table.
So based on rating, what you did?
I just arrange them, I just sort them, highest rating to the lowest rating,
Acha. Okay.
and I change their user ID.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it I did, and there is nothing to clean.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it I did.
All right. All right. That's good, Gautam. All right, sir. So any other one? Any other one we missed?
So myself.
Yes, yes, Sai.
So actually, I'm in a college corridor in the canteen. I'm with my college laptop. So
Okay.
as soon as I reach my home, I'll send you the document which I have done.
All right. No issues. No issues, Sai. All right, guys. So any other one? We miss any other one? Are we good?
Yeah,
Shall we
so
start?
I was not able
Mhm.
to complete it. I had some issues because I am using a Mac system. So my
Okay.
workbench was not, I was not able to download it. So now I was able to do it. So probably I'll connect to it and then try to do some transformations like what you told yesterday.
Sure, Sai. That
Yeah.
would be great.
And regarding the SSIS thing which you were telling, right, for the next 3 to 4
Mhm.
days, we might need it. I think I will also have to go to the college library and try to do it in the college system only because
Okay.
I don't have a Windows. So
All right.
yeah,
So basically, I will be giving you the material for that SSIS as well. Okay, with if possible, if I will try to get some screenshot based from the internet itself, I will try to get it. So with all the basic transformations, whatever you can do. So I will try to get that, okay, so that it would be easy unless until you get a Windows machine. But as soon as we move, because once we learn the basic transformations, right, so we can do the same thing on the cloud itself with the Azure Data Factory as well. So we'll be learning there also the same thing, okay,
sure.
different transformations in a very different way. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
all right. Okay, so sir, let's jump into today's topic. Again, today also we are going to be more focused on the database itself. So I'm going to show you a few techniques that we use in real time to do this. Again, these techniques are not like used everywhere. Okay, so each data engineer has a different role, a different perspective, how they solve the things. like I use a lot of SQL and ETL both together. Okay, most what we do is we share it like 50% of the work. So to copy that file or to get a file into the system, we use the ETL activity, and as well as to perform business logics, what we do is mostly we use we will take the help of SQL to do that. Okay, any business activities or any business validations that we want to do, all this kind of validations or things that whatever we want to do, we don't rely on the tool. What we do is we do it on the SQL, because in SQL it is very much faster. But any basic transformations out there, you want to split, you want to merge, you want to convert some data directly from one file, you want to generate another file. For example, you have a text file, you want to directly create a CSV file over it with some basic transformations between them. You can directly use a transformation tool, just like a SSIS will do that job. Okay, there your SQL server will not come into handy. But for other actions, your SQL server is the best bet. Not only SQL server, any database that you're using. Okay, mostly like the powerful and very reasonable softwares that are available right now in the market, or one is the SQL server, the second one is the PostgreSQL. Either most of the databases that you find in any enterprise, wherever you go for a job, right? Mostly you see this two. Either there will be Postgres or there will be SQL Server behind the scenes. All right. So if you're good with your SQL logics and how you are performing these actions, right? So you will have an idea. Okay. So if you get a requirement which needs an ETL activity, so you will have more than one solution in your head. Either you can do it completely on the ETL tool, or either you can share the load into ETL for ETL a few, and then you can do 50% on the SQL itself. All right. So today we are going to discuss a few topics. Okay. One is, you're not able to see my screen, right? Shade screen. All right. So today what we are going to do is, first thing is we are going to perform two things. One is automating the transformations. Now we need to automate the transformations. Okay. Creating audits. Okay, creating data audits. Now how you will create data audits is very important. Okay, you can create data audits in two ways. I will show you two ways here. All right, you might not need it in all the cases, but there are some cases where you might need to audit the data as well. Now auditing, what is auditing, sir? Auditing is if there is any change to the data. If there is any change to the data, you need to hold some historical data where you can see what has been changed. What was the last value? What is the new value that has been changed? All right. This we did in one particular project when I was into healthcare domain. We did this. So I'm going to share you about that particular experience, like what we were trying to do, because auditing was very important. We need to know like what that value has been changed and how we are going to. For this purpose, we are going to use a concept called as triggers. I hope you guys have a fair understanding about triggers. So triggers is fine for you guys. Triggers.
Yes.
Yeah.
DML triggers. Basic DML triggers is fine.
Can you explain it a little bit?
I
Yeah.
will. We will go on towards that. Okay. And then once we have done this, okay. So what we'll do is first we will validate the data. Validate, 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 and apply logic and apply business logic. So if there is any business logic, we'll try to apply, validate, and business logic. We will validate the data and we'll try to apply business logics on top of that. Okay. So if at all, if there is anything on top of this, we will do something called as incremental loads. Okay, we will do something called as incremental loads. Now, what is an incremental load, sir? An incremental load is something. So we will do two types of loads, and we do two types of loads in ETL. Usually, whenever we are talking about data warehousing concepts, right? The loading of data can be done in two ways. One is the incremental load. The other one is called as the full load. Okay. Now, what is the difference between an incremental load and full load? Now, incremental load is something that you have a table. Okay. You have a destination table. you have a destination table, and now in this destination table, you are completely wiping that destination table and pushing the data. This is your full load. What happens in full load? In full load, you have a source. Okay, you are getting data from your source, and you have a destination table. Every day, what you are doing is you are wiping the destination table completely. You are wiping the destination table completely and loading the data from source to the destination table. This is called as a full load. This is called as a full load. Full load means what? You are wiping the data, removing the data completely, reloading it with the fresh data. This scenario comes into picture whenever every day the same data is coming up, the same data is coming, but with few changes. You don't want to perform insert or update operations on it regularly, or you don't want to perform, like, you don't want to maintain that history of that data, but you just want to wipe the data and load it with fresh data. When you want to do that, you will go with something called as a full load. You will go with something called as a full load. For example, yesterday's example, whatever we are taking, right? Yesterday's example, whatever we have taken. So in that, mostly we were doing a full load, where full load is where, like, you're doing, you are always wiping the data and you are pushing the new data into it. You are wiping the data and again you are pushing the data into it. All right. So here, if you see, in the final table, we did not do anything here, but in the final table, what we are doing, we are just dropping the table and we are recreating that table. Now this is called as a full load. This is called as a full load. Full load means wipe that data and push the new data into it. Now what happens in incremental loads? What happens in incremental loads is, in incremental loads, what you will do is, you will keep the data which is already there. Okay, in the destination table, whatever the data which is already there, you will keep the data. Okay, if new data comes in, you will perform insert operation. If an existing data comes in, you will just update that record. Now this is called as an incremental load. Okay, this is called as an incremental load. Either you have to do an incremental load or full load. Maybe you will see an incremental load always in any data warehousing. You might be seeing, if there is a destination table, the first question you will ask to your manager or lead or any your mentor, whoever is guiding you in that project, right? The first thing that you are going to ask is, sir, either we are doing a full load or an incremental load on this. That is very important to know. Okay, if there is an incremental load, that means there is a lot of logic written behind it, because in incremental load, you might be handling the scenarios in a very different way. We will be exploring some basic scenarios in this session. All right, but this can be very complex as well. So incremental loads sometimes will be handled completely on the ETL level, sometimes it will be completely handled on the SQL level, sometimes again it is divided into both of them, some into SSIS, some into SQL. All right. So let's see. Okay, let's take some data. Shall we go with yesterday's data itself, or shall we take a new data set? What do you suggest? Shall we go with a new data set? Right. So let's go to data sets. Okay. We have hotels data set, top Valentine's thing. Okay. Marvel movie box office. This is what fruits data set for classification. What is this? A large scale multiple choice. Okay, this is MCQ. Let's go to something called as Mm. Okay, so we have some clinical trials data here. All right, let's try to open this. Okay, how much data is there for this? Clinical trials, observatory study, clinical site, sponsor, condition, enrollment, intervention. Mm. Mm. Okay, heart attack possibility. Okay, only 3 kb. That is too small. Behavioral risk factors surveillance team. Okay, COVID-19 critical trials dataset. Okay, we will download this. This is 29 MB. I think this should do. So let's wait till it gets downloaded. Okay, now after creating audits, what we will do is we will schedule these jobs. Okay, we will perform scheduling. So today what I will do is I will do auditing on only on few columns. Now I will give it to you like, okay, from there on you have to take care of it and you have to create auditing for each one of those columns. Okay, how you perform that auditing we will see for tomorrow. Okay, that would be your homework for today. All right, finally we will schedule that thing. After scheduling this, okay, if possible I will show you one more concept called as pagination. How many of you know about this concept called as pagination?
I've heard about it.
Okay, what do you guys know, like what exactly is pagination?
Um, it's something like when you web scrape. So suppose if you're web scraping, for suppose every like Twitter records has a page, so it could be the last line has to link to the next. I mean that's. I'm sorry, but
All right,
that's what.
no issues. You are going correct, Ritu. Like
Yeah, so it has link to the next Twitter comment. So I think that's how a
okay,
big
so
load of.
basically what you're doing is rather than showing the whole data onto the web page directly, what you do is you will show only limited amount of data onto your system and then you will have multiple pages in it. Okay, you will load the data on demand. You will
Yeah.
load the data on demand. Okay, you don't load the data complete data onto your web page or you will don't load the data into your system completely. What you do is you will perform it in the form of batches. Yes or no? So whenever you
Yeah.
go to any website, right, if you are seeing results, you won't see the results, complete results in one single page. What you will have is you will have page numbers below them. So you
Yeah.
click on second page, you will see, like for example 10 records are shown per page. In the first page you will see only 10 records. You go to the second page, you will see the next 10 records. You will go to the third page, you will see the next 10 records. Now this is called the pagination logic or the concept of pagination. All right, sir, understood? So if possible I will show you that technique as well, how you can perform paginations. All right, Now, why pagination is required here? We will talk about that as well. Okay. All right. So now see, we have rank, act number. Okay. Status. Okay. How many records do we have? We do have. Oh God, we have a lot of data. We have a lot of data. Okay. All right. So let's perform. Let's see how much ever we can perform the data operations today. Let's perform that, and later we will try to do the other things. So we have in-city number. Okay, what exactly is this data set talking about? So if you see this data set, what it is talking exactly about, clinical trial is a database of privately and publicly funded clinical studies conducted around the world. It is maintained by the National Institute of Health. All data is publicly available. Okay, the clinical okay, the data set consists of clinical trials related to COVID-19 studies presented on this site. Okay, so they have converted this XML data into CSV. Okay, see what so details. Okay, rank. So this is serial number. Okay, this is a serial number. A unique identification code given to each clinical study record registered on clinical trials. Okay, title of the study, acronym or initials, status. Okay, then what we have? Okay, recruiting, not yet recruiting. Recruiting 49%. Status indicates the current recruitment status or the expanded access status. Okay, a study record that includes the summary results posted in the clinical trials. Okay. All right. So this gives us a fair understanding of each clinical trial. So they are performing trials on each person. So they just kept it as rank. Actually, this is the serial number. Okay, this is the serial number. All right. So what else we have here? We have like age, phases. Okay, we have a lot of columns in this. Okay, this is first posted, completion date, primary completion date, start date, when was the clinical trial started. Okay, what is the study type, interventional, observational or behavioral. Okay, okay, interventional or observational, ठीक है. Okay, what phase is not applicable? It is in phase 1 and phase 2. 18 years and older. All right, child, adult or other adult, gender. So we have a lot of data. That's good. Outcome measures. All right, sir. So first, let's try to just dump this data into our data set. Okay, dump this data into our table, and then we will try to do what we were supposed to do. We will do that. Okay, let's not go with this whole data. So for this, what I'm going to do is, all right, I'm just going to create a copy of this particular data set. Okay. So this is in the zip folder. Let me extract this, extract all. It takes a bit of time to extract. So this is just 3 minutes. But we have a lot of XML files in this. Just wait a second. I don't need all this data, right? We just need the clinical trials. That's it. We don't need the XML data. All right. Now in this, what we are going to do is, I will just load only 10 records. Okay, I will just load 10 records, and the remaining records we'll just get rid of them. Okay, we'll be just loading 10 records for this, for the test purpose. You do it on a full-fledged data load. Okay, you do it on the full-fledged data and see what happens. Okay, I want your findings on that. All right, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform an import export wizard on this because I wanted to load the data. So for this, do I need a new database? Okay, do I need a new database? So, okay, let's create a new database. Okay, and try to do our operations there. Okay, I'm going to do create database. So I'm going to do it as COVID clinical trials. Okay, COVID clinical trials data. All right, just let's execute this. Okay, I'm just getting rid of this, refresh this, and you will be able to see your new database. Okay, COVID clinical trials. Now I'm going to perform the import export wizard. Okay, you can go to the tools and you can see that there are like import and export settings. Click on that. Now you will get this. Welcome to the import and export settings wizard. Okay. No, this is settings wizard, not this one. Where is that? There should be one more. New interface has completely moved it. No. All right. No problem. We will be import and export data. SQL Server 2022. All right. So this would be your SQL Server import export data. Now you can open this import export data wizard directly from your Windows machine as well. Yesterday what we did, we right clicked on the database and we tried to open that import export wizard, right? From here we tried to open this import export wizard. But directly you can type in like import export wizard and this will open up. Okay, this particular window will open up. Now you can just click on next. Okay. Now there is some problem with this. Not sure yet. Let's close this. Okay, let's do it from here only. Okay, let's go to task. Let's click on import data. Import data. Now this will open up your SQL Server import and export wizard. Click on next. So what is the data source? Now the data source is a flat file, right? So from here, what you do is you click on a flat file source. Okay, you click on a flat file source. All right. Now in the flat file source, what is the file that you want to load? From here, I want to just from the COVID data. If you see, so this is the file that I want to load. Okay. So now if you see, there is a header row delimiter, that is CRLF. Okay. CRLF means, okay, that is the first line and an enter. Okay. So this has a meaning. Okay. Format delimited. Yes. Format is delimited. Now, what you can do is you can just click on the columns and you can see whatever the columns that are required, right, that are being shown here. Okay, automatically there is a column delimiter. So you have different column delimiters here. Now the data can be with different column delimiters. Most commonly what we see is either with a comma or with a tab space or with a vertical bar. Okay, these are the most used delimiters in ETL. Okay, these are the most used delimiters, like the comma or the tab space or a vertical bar. Okay, most if you have a .txt format, you might be mainly seeing a tab or a vertical bar delimiters in them. Or if it is a directly a comma separated value, you are in luck. So you will automatically identify those. All right. So let's take this. Let's click on next. Okay. Now what is your destination? Now destination is your raw file what you want to create. So it is a SQL Server database, right? So it says SQL Server database table. So I will click on SQL Server native client 11.0. So this same settings we will do it in SSIS as well. So whatever you do in import export wizard, the same settings can also be done on an SSIS tool as well. All right. So here we will take this. We are going to access COVID clinical trials database. So it is Windows authenticated. Correct. Next. Now here it is going to create a table called as DBO dot COVID clinical trials. Now what I'm going to do is I just don't want spaces in my table name. So I will just mention them with an underscore. Okay, I will replace them with a underscore. Okay, so if you want to do any sort of mappings, you can do the mappings here. Now what are the mappings here, sir? You want to change the data type, we want to change the size. For example, if you see here, the size is 50 here. But if you have seen in the Excel, the description or the other things which are more than 50 characters. So it's not wise to have less characters. Rank is like varchar. So everything here is in varchar. So what we want to do is we want to change it to something else. Now okay, what we can do is directly you can edit SQL here. Okay, you want to do it here itself. You can create like this 500, 500, 500, something like this. Okay, but if you're good with SQL and you want to directly do it on the SQL editor, you can directly do it here. All right, so you can just you can write your own create table thing. Okay, so here I'm just making them everything to 500 so that I won't get any conversion issues or any data overflow issues. All right, okay. The SQL statement has manually the displayed values may not reflect the metadata of the destination table that will be created when executing the system. So once you do it in edit SQL, right? So that what it is saying is that you cannot apply it here. You cannot see it here. That's totally fine for me because I would directly want to keep this. Okay, I want to load this file from here to into my database. All right, create destination world, drop and recreate destination table. Okay, so if there is something like that, okay, if there is already a table with this name, I want it to drop it and recreate that table. So I click on OK, I click on next. Okay, now you can save this as an SSIS package. Now what is this, sir? Now once you have this, you can save it as an SSIS package. Now what happens with this? Let's see. Okay, if you have this option called as save SSIS package, let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to save it as SSIS package. I won't run it immediately. I don't want to run it immediately, but what I want to do is I want to save it as an SSIS package. Okay, I'm not going to use any kind of encryption or any user ID password here. I will just write like save SSIS package SQL Server. You can do it as a SQL Server or you can write it as a file system. I'm clicking on file system. Let's see what happens with both of them. So now your package is created. Now what is a package? Whatever the actions you have performed in this import export wizard, all these are stored in a thing called as a package. Now we call it as a package. You're storing it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a name. Okay, import COVID data package. Okay, now I'm going to call this package as import COVID data package. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on next. Okay, now this will be created. So what I will do is I will create it in my downloads folder because everything is going here itself. So I'm going to download this. Okay, so into this particular location. Now I'm going to click on next and I'm going to click on finish. I'm going to click on finish. Now what this package will do is this package will load that file every day. That package will load that file every day into the system at a particular point. Now we are learning the scheduling part. We are learning the scheduling part. Later, once we load the data, we will try to uncover these topics slowly. Okay, how much we can cover today, let's cover it, and whatever it is left out, we will cover it tomorrow. Now once you have this package, now you can just see this package. All right, a package is created. The package is created with the .dtsx extension. Okay, any SSIS package will have this extension called as .dtsx. This will have a thing called as .dtsx, an extension called as .dtsx. Sir, clear till this part? What we did, we told that in a specific folder, a specific file is there. Pick that file and load that file's data into our table. So this is what we told. Now, whatever the actions we have done in that import export wizard, we saved all the steps into a package. We stored all that steps into a package. Now this package is used. Now this package is used to do our next operation. Now this package can be automated. This package can be scheduled. Let's see. Okay, let's see how it works. Sir, so far clear? Any doubts here so far?
All clear.
All clear? Good. All right, sir. Now what I'm going to do is, in your Object Explorer, if you see, there is something called as an SQL Server agent. There is something called as an SQL Server agent. Now, what a SQL Server agent will do is, a SQL Server agent is used to schedule a job. Now, what is a job? A job is something that can be executed repeatedly. A job is something that can be executed repeatedly or on a specific time every day. Okay. For example, I'm going to create a new job. You will understand like as we do it. Okay. For example, I want to schedule a new job. I want to schedule a new job. Now, in this new job, I want to call it as load COVID data. So I'm going to call it as load COVID data. Okay. So click on OK. So your load COVID data job is created. Now, if you want to do is, what you will do is, you will go to its properties. You will go to its properties. Now, if you see, this is the general tab where we gave the name of the job. You gave that job a name. Now, in the steps, now in this job, what you want to run? Are there multiple steps in it? Okay. Sometimes whenever we write an ETL activity, we will have multiple steps. In one single package, we will keep multiple steps in it. Okay. Not in one single job, we will have multiple steps where we can call multiple packages also. Now, for the base example, for this base scenario, what we are going to take is, we have created only one package and we will create only one step for it. So I'm going to create a one step. So I clicked on new. So I'm going to call as, okay, load data from file to table. Okay, load data from file to table. So this is my first step. Now, what is the type of it? Either it is a TSQL script. Now you can run a TSQL script or you can run a package. So here what I'm going to run is, I'm going to run a SQL Server Integration Services package. What I'm going to run, sir? I'm going to run a SQL Server Integration Services package. Now this SQL Service Integration package is the package that we have created just now, a DTSX page. Okay, a DTSX package. All right. So run as what? SQL Server Agent Service Account. So this is by default this. But if you are working in a data warehouse environment, you might have multiple users there. So only a specific user might be able to run SQL Server packages. Okay, that your admin will take care of. Okay. So I just create on this. Okay, package source. So from where you want to run this package, either it from the SSIS catalog or you want to run it from some other. So currently my package is saved onto the system. My package is saved onto my local machine. So I have to run that from my file system. I have to run it from my file system. Okay, there are multiple options here. Again, there is like set values and a lot of things are there that we will discuss elaborately in the SSIS thing. Whenever we are talking about SSIS, there we will discuss. All right. So here what I'm going to do, now I'm going to select that package that I want to run. What is that package I want to run? I want to run this import COVID data package. I want to run this particular package. Okay, now for this package, you can have some set values. Now, what is a set value? This is a very important screen. We will discuss about this when we have variables in our package. When we have variables in our package, we'll discuss about this. But for now, what I'm telling the system is, I created a new job. I told that I have to run this job. Now, in this job, there are steps. The first step is select this package and execute it. Select this package and execute it. Let's click on OK. That's okay. So now you want to create another step. You can create another step here. So you have two options here. On success, what I have to do. On failure, what I have to do. Okay, on success, what has to be done, and on failure, what has to be done. Everything is written here. So on success, it can go to the next step. So if you have multiple steps, it will go to the next step. On failure, it will stop at that particular step. Now again, about this, we will dwell deeper into our exercise session. Okay, so let's click on OK. The on success of the last step will be changed to go to next step, quit with success. Is this intended behavior? Yes. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is, because now I have just created the job, I did not scheduled it. I did not scheduled it. So let me show you how this works without scheduling first. So without scheduling, what you have to do is you have to manually run this job. In the SQL Server agent, you have to manually run this job. Like I just click on here and I will call as start job at step. Okay, start job at step. Now, once I click on this, it ran and we have a failure. What is the failure? Let's see. An exception occurred. An exception while executing transact SQL batch. SQL Server is not currently running, so it cannot be notified. So again, one of my services is stopped. So I have to go to my services and check for something called as SQL Server agent. SQL Server agent. Now I have to start this particular service. I have to start this particular service. All right. Let's click on OK. Come back. Now go to here, start job at step. Click on that and your job is running. Now it will run the underlying package. So there is some problem with the package. Let's see. Execution of job has failed. Okay. See the history log for details. Okay. So let's see the history log. View history. So let's see. The job was failed. The job was invoked by the last step to run was this. Why the job failed? Loading data from file to table. Why did it fail? Did it give any reasons? As okay, SQL Server 1 executed as user. What is the error? Now you will have an error here. Let's see why it failed. Why this particular job failed. Okay, so it's description. Unable to load the package as XML because of package does not have a valid XML format. A specific XML parser error will be posted and error. Okay, why? What is the description? Failed to open package file. Okay, file to open due to access is denied. Okay, sometimes what happens is the access is denied. Okay, the system cannot access certain folders onto it. So for that, what we are going to do is, okay, I'm just going to take this package, okay, move it into some other drive. Okay, I'm going to move it into some other drive and retry it again. Okay, I'm just going to paste it here. All right, and all right, coming to my jobs, I'm going to open this job again. Steps. Open my step. So actually it is being accessed from this particular part, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the path. Now I have moved it to some other folder. This package is moved to other folder. So here I have placed it in the K folder. So I will just post it here. Let's click on OK. Okay, and let's try to run the job again. Start job at step. All right, again we have an error. Let's see what the error is again. View history 824. All right. So executing the query, drop table COVID clinical failed with error. Cannot drop the table because it does not exist or you do not have permission. Possible failure reasons with the query results. Now in the package, we did one thing. What we did is we tried to create this table. So we told that if this table exists, okay, if this table is there already, then delete it. But somehow SQL failed to identify, to write the safe code. It forgot to write the safe code. Now what we are going to do is, for just namesake, we are going to create this table. Create table. What is that? COVID underscore clinical trials. COVID underscore clinical trials. Okay. So I'm just going to just create ID int. Okay. I'm just creating this dummy table because I want the system to identify it and then delete it. Okay. I just created it. Let's go back. Let's go back to our SQL and let's try to run this job again. Start job at step. So because we have only one step, it gets executed. Oh God, again we have an error. View history. All right. Let's see what is this error again. Okay. All right. What is this? Source data flow task cannot open the data file clinicaltrials.csv. So it is not able to open this file. Why is it open? Fail the pre-execute phase and return code. The package returned DTSCR failed. The package execution failed. Source data flows task 1. So what happened? It is not able to access, cannot open the data file COVID clinical trace.csv. So it is not able to. Yes. Yes, Kunal?
when I tried to open a file before for the homework, I had some issue opening it too. So I opened another file and did the homework. So is it usual for a data with lots of descriptions to have a lot of issues opening?
Not really. Actually, it should not have any issues. It should not have any issues. Basically, sometimes what happens is if one of this if this file is being used somewhere else, okay, most of the time we get issues like some of the processes, even we closed the file, right? If some of the processes is using or or holding on to this file, right, it will not allow the other program to access it. So there also this problem might come up. All right.
So it's not
let's
because of nature of the data then.
No, it's not about maximum. It is not with the data.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to paste it here. Let's try one more time. Let's keep this data here. Let's go here and try to run the job again. No, I guess cannot open the data file. So somehow, because now at least we have only 10 records, right? Pre-execute phase and return an error code. Okay, somehow it is not able to access my file. Let's try doing one thing. Okay, let's try to change this to my another location, this K location. Let's try to keep it here, and we will edit the package. Okay, we will edit that package. Okay, I will show you like why I'm doing this. Okay, I will show you like why I'm doing this. Okay, let me add an existing package from the file system. All right, so drop table task, preparation SQL task 1, right? So what it is doing create table. Okay, drop table. So this SQL table should have this particular line if exists. Okay, okay, data flow task. In the data flow task, so it is trying to access this file, right? So let's change this source connection flat file name. So we will try to change this location to that. Click on OK. All right, save this, build this. Okay. We'll just try to run it from here itself. Because rather than doing it again and again and there, once we'll get this package correct. Okay, the package execution failed. Execute drop table. Okay, 100% complete. Could not open global shared memory to communicate with performance DLL data flow. Okay, that's just a warning. The data conversion for column title returned status value 4 and status text. Text was truncated or one more had no match in the target code page. Okay, failed because truncation occurred and the truncation row disposition on source COVID clinical trace.csv output. Okay, on data row 2, the component returned a failure code with pipeline. So basically it is truncating the data. There is more data, but it is getting truncated. So exactly which column is doing that? Further, the data conversion for column title returned. Okay, the status value 4 and status test was truncated or one or more characters had no match in the target code page. All right, so there is a problem with our title. There is a problem with our title column. So if we open this, all right, now because if you see here, there are some special characters in it. Okay, there are like some special characters in it. Because of this special characters, what is happening? It is truncating this data. Again, now this is one of the ways that we have to, wherever we find this kind of data, right? So it cannot process it. So just let me get rid of this for now. Okay, delete that. Are there any other special symbols currently? No, right? Let's just let me save it and close this. All right, stop this. Go back to your package. Try to run this. So there is some problem again. Okay, what is the problem? The data conversion for column title returned the status. The text was truncated or one or more character has no match. We saved it with the new data, right? We saved it with new data. There is some problem. Just let's stop it. Go to the control flow. Source connection file. Columns. Advanced. Output column width. Output column width is still 50. We change it to 500, right? Let me keep it as 1000. Okay. I'm just increasing the length of every column so that it won't give me any error. Outcome measures. We just increase everything to 1000. No, I did not anticipated this many failures. Let's click on OK. There's an error here. All right. Output columns with the mirror of the external columns. No. Okay. Columns. Connection manager. Columns. Destination. Mappings. That what it says. Source connection flat file. So all the columns has 1000 length. How about destination? Action manager. Mappings. All right. Okay. So just let's save this package. Let's run this again. Test was truncated for one or more characters had no match in the target code page. Truncation occurred on the translation row position disposition source COVID clinical trials CSV output. All right. What 0 was? There is some problem. There is some problem with that data that with normal import export wizard we cannot do. Shall we do it with some other data set for now? Shall we do it with some other data set just for now? I will show you like what is the error for this. Tomorrow we will discuss about that.
Can we use the same data set as tomorrow?
Sorry?
Yeah, the one yesterday.
yeah,
which-
yesterday.
Yesterday's one, right? So yeah, let's see that. There is some problem. Actually it should not give this many errors actually. But somehow we have too many errors today. data flow. So for the source connection flat file, browse columns. All right. Advanced. If we want to change the data type, we can change the data type, but I'm not doing anything right now. And for the destination, so that is my source. Now this is my destination. So rather than doing it on, I will do it on import export DB. In the data flow task, some mapping errors. Destination. So here, flex patrol draw, keep nulls, auto mappings. Type premier to premier. Now I'm mapping like from my source to destination. I have to map all these columns. Watch time in million. Let's click on OK. Because Unicode and non-Unicode string data types. The column types type and type cannot be converted with Unicode and non-Unicode string data types. Go to the source, type. Convert between Unicode and non-Unicode string data types. Acha. There is a problem with the CSV file itself. So let's go to export data. Movie rankings dot archive. Let's do one thing, because it has some special characters, right? Why don't we just we wasted a lot of time here, man. A lot of time, things got wasted here. Let's do one thing, buddy. Okay, because this would be more confusing if we start here. All right. So we will try to create an Excel sheet. So because the CSV data, whatever the data set we have generated, right, it has some special characters in it, like the quoted strings. Okay. So quoted columns can create problem. So usually we do not have quoted columns, but in our CSV file we do have quoted for columns here. Okay, so that is one issue. The other one is with the previous one was there are some special characters in between them, so that is also creating issue. So for example, now if you see this, so if you see this, okay, so you have see this quoted columns here. Okay, you should not have quoted columns in this. So let's try to fix this. Okay, let's try to fix this without this quoted columns. Because for data you can have quoted columns but not for column names, so this can really mess up with your data. So just uh, let's try to do it in this way. Okay, so let's get delete this. Let's try to do it again. This last time, let's try to do it. Okay, if it doesn't work, then tomorrow we'll directly start an exercise, and we cannot waste more time on this. Too many errors today. Okay, my bad. Not COVID data. Okay, CSV file, columns, reset columns. All right, advanced. Okay, destination, mappings. So in mappings, now what we are going to do, we are going to do rank, title, type, premier, genre to genre, watch time to watch time in millions to watch time in millions. Click on OK. The column rank cannot be converted. What happened with the column rank? Correct, right? I think it should work fine now. Okay, let's try to run this. Okay. Columns watch in million cannot be converted because you have between Unicode and non-Unicode string data types. Is validation return validate status VS is broken. What happened with watch in million? Watch in million to watch in million times. Watch time in million. Okay, I think this is the only column that is giving us issue, right? Or what we can do is we can just get rid of this extra spaces. Source connection. Mappings. All right, now we should have done this from the beginning itself. Rank cannot convert between Unicode and non-Unicode string data types. What is this Unicode problem here? Okay, let's take a break here, guys. Okay, I think there is some issue with this data sets. All right, let me figure out like what is this issue. Okay, we shall continue from here tomorrow. Okay, we'll try to cover this tomorrow as SAP. Okay, my bad today. So it's this fault is on my side. So I didn't anticipate this many errors would come up from this data sets. All right, so sorry for that. Okay, we will try to see like what is causing this particular issue. All right, and I will give you an explanation like why these issues are coming up and what you should do in this kind of scenarios. All right, sorry we could not learn much today. Okay, we didn't learn actually today anything. We just had this concepts here. All right, sorry for that again. Okay, tomorrow we will try to cover up this. Okay, fine with everyone?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is some problem here. All right. I think I will also share some notes today. Okay, try to do that. Okay, try to do this import export wizard. Okay, why don't you do some homework for me when you come tomorrow? Why don't you write a trigger on your table? Okay, so do this homework for tomorrow. Okay, go to your okay, once you do your normal import export wizard, whatever you have done yesterday, right? On top of that, what you do is on your final table, okay, on your final or your destination table, on your destination table, try to create a so I will just write the homework. Okay, create a DML trigger, DML insert and update triggers on the destination table. Okay, try to create a DML trigger on that. So now whenever you are inserting a record, right, whenever you are inserting a record, right, it should go to your, for example, if your table name is destination table, if your table name is a destination table, you should create two tables. One is destination table inserted and the other one is destination table updated. Okay, so you have to write to create two tables. One table should, whatever the values you are inserting, right, insert those records first into the destination table inserted and then the record into the final destination table. And when the record is updated, write the old record and on top of that write what is the new record that is getting on top of that. Okay, try to do this. Okay, I will try to and for those people who don't know about triggers, trigger is a event. Okay, trigger is an event that is run on your table. Okay, that will run on your table. So you can create triggers on your table. So while inserting, if you want to do some other task, what you can do is you can do an insert trigger. While updating, if you want to do some other task or you want to update some other table before updating this table, you can update that as well. Okay, this is called as triggering events. Now you have two magical tables in them. One is called as the inserted table and one is called as the deleted table. Inserted and deleted. So you will have two magic tables in it. Okay, or else what you do is you just read about this triggers and come tomorrow. Okay, read about this triggers and come tomorrow. So in the first half we will see how to perform auditing. In the second half we will see how that SSIS package can be loaded and how that SSIS package can be scheduled as a job. Okay, sir, just have a brief idea about how to do triggers, and for the people who knows already about triggers, perform this activity. Okay, create two tables, one is destination table inserted and one is destination table updated, and try to insert and update into this particular two tables before inserting into your actual table. Okay, and again I'm really sorry for because today's class completely got wasted today. I hope let's cover up tomorrow all of these things. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry from my side because this issues are prevailing from my end. Okay, I will clean the data set and I will show you like why this error has occurred and how we can overcome these errors tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sir. All right, sir. That's it for today. Let's meet tomorrow. Okay, and let's cover up all the pending activities. Okay. All right,
Sure.
sir. So that's
Yeah.
it for today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.